Hey, Mike with D2D Millionaire here. And have you ever gotten an objection from a potential customer and just been at a loss for words? Well, today's video, I want to go through a couple different tips you can use to buy yourself more time when you get an objection and also help you close more sales while you're selling door to door. So one thing that sometimes happens when you're selling is that you'll get some type of objection that kind of throws you off, right? Maybe you've never encountered it before, or maybe it's just something so outlandish and ridiculous that it kind of takes you aback, right? You're not even sure how to respond at that point. So a couple things you want to keep in mind if you get an objection like that, or maybe you just find yourself lost and not sure what to do. So the first thing that you want to do and keep in mind is that you want to keep your cool and just remain calm and collected whenever you get an objection, no matter what it is. If it's something that you hear all the time or you've never heard before, whatever the case may be, your potential customer is going to want to do business with someone that seems like they know what they're doing, right? They've been there before, they act like a professional. So a lot of times, unfortunately, what a lot of newer sales reps do is anytime they get an objection or some sort of obstacle that they run into during the sales process, they basically wear their emotions on their sleeve, right? They get down in the dumps. So like, oh, you don't want this, or oh, you don't have the money. Like they kind of beat themselves up, or they show it physically with their body language or their emotions or their tonality. They just kind of get down in the dumps. And that's one of the quickest ways to basically lose the sale is when you lose that energy. You come off like you're needy and desperate at that point, or you're really upset that they have an objection. Whatever the case may be, you just kind of want to keep it even, right? You don't want to be a roller coaster up and down. When somebody says that they're interested, you get all excited and super uppity, and then when someone says they have a concern, then down in the dumps. It's going to really hinder your sales when you do that. So the more even you can keep it, the more cool you can be when you get an objection, no matter how outlandish it is, the better it will be and the more professional you're going to come off as. And here's the thing, if somebody does have a crazy outlandish objection or excuse or reason for not buying, if you create some type of big reaction, that's just going to feed into them, making it seem like it's that much more valid of an excuse or an objection, right? So if you can be like, hey, I hear this all the time, or I get it, I completely understand, it's going to create a lot less tension and friction, and you're going to be a lot more likely to create that sale even with that objection. So kind of leads me into my next step of what to do, and that's using transitional phrases and buffer words whenever you kind of get in a bind like that, right? Anytime you need to buy yourself more time, or you just want to keep more collected. Basically what this is you use different phrases and transitional words, again, to kind of bridge the gap to transition into overcoming that objection. So it might be something like, hey, I can appreciate that, or I get it, I understand why you might feel that way, or we have customers all the time say that, but they get started with us anyway, or that's exactly why I'm here. So again, these can be great ways to transition from that concern or objection into overcoming it and making the sale. So again, let's say for example, you marketed pest control and someone says, well, I'm not seeing any pests, so I don't think I need your service. So your transitional phrase in that scenario might be, great, well, that's exactly why we're here. If you already had an in-depth pest issue, you had an infestation already, you already would have called us. It would have cost you way more money to fix that, to treat that, take a lot longer. So that's why we're here, to help you set up a maintenance program so you can keep your home pest-free and avoid having a big incident like that in your home, and that cost and that expense and that hassle. So again, that's exactly why we're here. And then you can transition into your value build, your offer, your discount that you have going on, whatever the case may be. Another reason that you want to use transitional phrases and buffer words like that is it's going to make your potential customer feel like they've been heard. A lot of times what sales reps will do is they'll get a concern or objection, and then they're like a cat waiting to pounce, right? It's like the second somebody has an objection, they just jump right on top of them and try and overcome it and try and solve it. And again, that person kind of feels like they're being attacked almost, and puts them on the defensive, and that's really the last thing you want when you're selling. So again, if somebody does have a concern or objection like that, you can use those transitional phrases to make them feel like they're being heard and they're listened to. So it kind of gives them like, hey, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I know how you could feel that way. Or, hey, I understand what you mean. We've heard that from a lot of neighbors in the neighborhood, but this is why they got started anyway with us. Or again, that's exactly why we're here. I can appreciate that, but that's exactly why we're here, to help you with XYZ issues. So again, it makes them feel heard, and the more you can have a conversation with the person, the more trust and rapport you can create, and the less you're just going to come off as someone trying to push and sell something on them, rather than being there as someone that's trying to help. So when you use those transitional phrases and those buffer words, it's going to engage the prospect more. They're going to feel like you're listening to them a lot more, just because you're not just jumping down their throat with that solution to overcome that concern that they have. So again, use these different tips. You'll get a lot more sales in your business, on the doors, and whatever it is that you're marketing. So again, hopefully you got some benefit and value out of this video. And if you did, feel free to comment and share. And if you are selling or in door-to-door sales, be sure to head on over to d2dmillionaire.com. Enter your name and email for access to our free podcast training on how to avoid the 5 most common reasons why sales reps fail in door-to-door sales. So again, if you're struggling, not making the income levels you want, or again, maybe you just want this year to be your best year yet in door-to-door sales, be sure to head on over to d2dmillionaire.com, enter your information to access that free podcast training. But thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you more soon.